We need to first, I want to first make sure that everybody's clear how we got here today and why this case was handled in South Carolina. The state of Georgia has a statute of limitations which prevented the district attorney from going back this far and prosecuting these cases. South Carolina, the state of South Carolina, does not have such a statute of limitations. And so her office and her people, I can't say enough of how much I appreciate the work that they put in to help us get, get here today. This was a 20-year sentence. As I told the judge, I do not expect the defendant to live through that sentence, but I think it is appropriate that he spends the rest of his life in the South Carolina Department of Corrections. What you saw in there today was somebody who not only violated the trust of children, but violated their faith. He used the Catholic faith against them. He wore his collar when he was assaulting these children. He presented himself as the spiritual father to these children and abused not only their trust, but their center belief in God. And I think that the fact that he will spend the rest of his life in the South Carolina Department of Corrections is appropriate. Chris is with us. I think he'd like to address it. First, like to obviously thank Meg Heap and her staff. Kimberly Smith was also the prosecutor that worked with us in our office as well. And so Meg, let me turn it over to you, and then if you'd like to, Chris, you can after that.
So actually a huge shout out to Duffie Stone. When I was approached about this case to see if we could prosecute it, we started to research it and realized we were barred by the statute of limitations. The law has now changed since then, and we do not have statute of limitations for child molestation and crimes against our children. We reached out to the U.S. Attorney's Office. They were also barred. So when we reached out to Duffie Stone, he took this case, and I think as the judge stated, these cases from the 70s and the 80s, so going back and finding information and finding evidence, he picked it up and he went with it, and it's justice finally for these victims. The defendant is finally held accountable for the crimes he committed. We do also want to say a 912-652-8080 is a number. We believe there are other victims out there. We have received calls when we put this number out before, as far as Seattle, Washington, of victims, and it's 912-652-8080. If anybody has information or knows of victims, or if they want to contact us, please do. He should be held accountable for any of the crimes that he has committed against these children. I think this is the first step, and I think it's finally justice for the victims. So again, I thank Duffie Stone, and I also thank the victims for coming forward. As the judge stated, the courage they had to come and speak. Hopefully other victims will hear as well.
First, I'd like to thank y'all for being here and covering this story. It really means a lot. The whole purpose of the story, hopefully, is to, as Mick Heap just said, to have other victims come forward and show them that they're not alone. It's a lonely world to be in suffering and sadness and shame and guilt. And the help's here, and I'm here to help. And we showed today that justice is here to help. And I can't begin to thank Duffie Stone, Kimberly Smith, Michelle Frazier, Meg Heap. I hope I haven't left any of that in their office out, because they have been amazing. They have stood up for us when not many people would. Statute of limitations were so bad that it scares a lot of solicitors off, and they feel like they're jumping into something they can't win. And we never got that reaction from any of these guys, and they stood by us and they worked hard, and I'll forever be grateful to them. My family, to Alan Rana for standing up there with me today, and just hopefully that something good can come out of this situation where others can come forward and get some help, because there's not much support system for it. It's not the easiest thing to talk about. It's not the easiest thing to admit. And to have good people on your side like I've had, and good family, and the representation we had from Savannah, Georgia today to support us was phenomenal, and I can't thank them enough. And thank you so much. And hopefully this will give some closure. I don't know what that means, to be honest with you. People say that to me all the time. Well, I hope you can get some closure. I really don't know what that means. I know that God is on my side and has put people like Meg Heap and Duffie Stone in his office in my life and my family to protect me and to help me live. You know, my wonderful children that have had to suffer through this, and my wonderful wife, I thank them for standing by my side, loving me when I didn't know how to love myself. And just thank you all. Thank you.
Do you have any questions?
Duffie, quick question for you and then one for you, Meg. Got the sense today that this is closing up one case, but you're kind of pursuing something else. Can you maybe, without compromising any integrity of an investigation?
I'll be very careful about this, but Mr. Ranta mentioned in the hearing a number of questions. I'd like to get the answers to those questions as well, and there are some other questions that I imagine those would create. We entered into a written plea agreement on this case, not so much because of the sentence, but because I wanted a legal document that would allow us to go back and question him at a later date and not have to, not be concerned about any of his rights, and make sure we were covering that base. We plan on doing that. Whether or not we'll get any further information or not, I don't know. I think it's important. District Attorney Heap gave that phone number. That also works for anybody who has any information concerning any of this, not only the priest, but anybody that could have also been a part of making this happen, making this possible. So that avenue is still open. I don't know if we'll ever be in a situation where we can do anything with that information, but that was the reason that we set up the big ring that we had today.
Meg, this strikes a personal chord for you.
Well, I am from Savannah, Georgia. I went to St. James School. These are people from my community. There are good priests out there, but there are bad, and they should be taken out. Whatever the church decides to do with them is one thing, but if you're committing a crime, you need to be held accountable, and you need to go to prison for harming children.
Anything else?
Chris, what's next? What's next for you?
Sorry.
What's next for you? What's next for like?
Be a dad, be an employee for my family's office, family's business. Try to move on with life, but always be there to help anyone that is going through anything like I have. To be here to help Duffie Stone and Meg Heap with any information I can to help with those questions that Alan brought up also. I want the answers to those too. I do feel and hold them just as responsible as the man who raped me. I believe that they could have prevented that from happening to me and to others, and I believe that they should be held responsible just as much as he has. So this is a big victory, but I believe there's a lot more that needs to be taken care of. Otherwise, I believe the problems are going to continue, and children will not be safe. And I loved what the judge said at the end when he quoted the scripture verse. That meant a lot. And you know, I mean, I feel like I've lost 50 pounds just now. I'm kind of tired, but it's a great day. It's kind of surreal. I didn't ever really think, I didn't know if this was going to happen or not, you know. We had everything stalling to evidence to, we had hurricanes too, trying to keep it from happening. But you know, it's a great day, and I feel blessed to be here, blessed to be able to try to help others.
You and Alan both, Chris, had to go through all of this alone, but you have this incredible support, not only from each other, but the friends and family surrounding you.
Well, Andrew, my family, I can't say enough how wonderful they are. My mom and dad, my two sisters and two brothers, and their spouses. It has been a family effort, because like the judge said, the victim is not the only one that suffers in this thing. It has affected the whole community, but it has truly affected my family. My poor children have had to go through this and see all the stuff on television and see everything that Daddy says. I can't imagine having to watch my father say that he was raped on TV, and to see a mugshot of a man that had done that to him. And my children are truly strong. Thank goodness for my wife, because they got a lot of that from her, not me, I can promise you. But she's amazing. She's been my rock. And just, you know, and this is my family too. You know, Meg Heap, I don't remember not knowing Meg Heap, to be honest with you. I don't. I live in Savannah also, and there's so many people that have supported me that I don't. They say, "How long have you known them?" I don't even remember not knowing them. So it's a blessing to have support. It truly is. You know, we were sad we didn't get it from the people that we were a part of as the Catholic Church. We felt like we could have gotten more support from them as far as helping us with the criminal investigation or anything else. And we didn't get any help, but that's okay. We don't need them when we have Meg Heap and Duffie Stone. So I'm grateful. Thank you.
Thank you.